Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat there wondering, why do some women seem to have men completely captivated, while others, no matter how beautiful, smart, or successful, are constantly chasing love that never lasts? It's frustrating, isn't it? Because we've been told the wrong story. We've been told attraction is about looks, saying the right thing, playing it cool. But the truth is much deeper. When a man truly chases you, I'm not talking about a fleeting moment of attention. I mean deeply, consistently, in a way that makes him feel like you're the person he never wants to lose. That's not an accident. That's not luck. It's psychology. See, there are subtle, powerful triggers that awaken something in a man's mind. Not games, not manipulation, but simple shifts in the way you show up, the way you carry yourself, the energy you project that make him choose to pursue you. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. In this video, I'm going to break down those psychological truths, the small, often missed factors that flip the script, that turn you from just another option into the woman he can't get out of his head. It's not about changing who you are. It's about tapping into the version of you that already knows. I'm the prize, and the right person, they'll chase me deeply. Let's dive in. 1, people value what feels earned, not handed to them. If you've ever wondered what makes a man truly value and chase a woman, it starts with understanding this simple, often overlooked truth. People value what feels earned, not handed to them. Now, I know in today's world of instant gratification, texts, likes, attention on demand, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, if I show how much I care up front, if I'm available all the time, he'll appreciate me more. But that's not how human psychology works. We as people are wired to value what we have to invest in. It's the same reason you treat something you've worked hard for with more care than something that came easy. Think about it. If someone gifts you a pair of designer shoes, sure, you'll like them. But if you saved up, worked for them, earned them, you walk a little taller when you wear them. You protect them. You appreciate them on a whole different level. It's no different with relationships. When a man feels like your time, your attention, your affection is just there waiting, no questions asked, it loses its perceived value. But when your energy feels earned, when he senses that your world is full, your standards are clear, and your time is selectively given, that flips a switch in his mind. Suddenly, you're not just another option. You're a challenge not because you're playing games, but because you have a life, a purpose, a sense of self that exists with or without him. And that's magnetic. It activates something ancient in his psychology, the part that thrives on pursuit, the part that lights up when he senses, I need to step up, I need to show up, I need to earn a place in her life. But let me be clear.
This isn't about withholding love.
It's not manipulation. It's about understanding your worth so deeply that you no longer hand over your energy to anyone who hasn't shown they deserve it. And guess what happens when you carry yourself that way? You become unforgettable. Because you didn't flood him with attention to win him over. You invited him to rise to your level, and that invitation feels rare. So if you truly want a man to chase you deeply, start by remembering
Your time.
a privilege, your attention, a gift, your love, and not assumed. And the right man, he won't be intimidated by that. He'll be inspired by it. And you won't need to chase him because he'll be chasing you deeply, intentionally, consistently. True confidence is the ultimate magnet. Let me tell you something most people overlook when it comes to attraction. It's not always the loudest person in the room who gets the most attention. It's not always the one who looks perfect or tries the hardest. The real magnet is confidence. But I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about showing off or pretending you don't care. I'm talking about that quiet, grounded, unshakable energy that says, I know my worth, I know what I bring to the table. I'm good with or without you, but I'd love to share my world with the right person. That kind of confidence, it's intoxicating. It's subtle, but undeniable. And it makes a man lean in because suddenly he's not dealing with someone desperate for his attention. He's faced with someone who already knows their value. And that's rare. Here's the psychological truth. People naturally gravitate toward what feels certain, stable, and secure. When your confidence radiates from within, you create that sense of emotional stability, and that makes you irresistible. Think about it. Confidence changes the entire dynamic. When you walk into a room, you don't need to overcompensate. When you speak, your words carry more weight. When you're dating, you don't chase, you observe. You're not rushing to impress or win someone over. Instead, you sit back and allow them to reveal who they are because you already know who you are. And here's where the magic happens. That energy shifts the power dynamic completely. The man starts thinking, wait, she's not trying to convince me of anything. She's evaluating me. She's not just available to anyone. I need to own this. And when a man senses that, it sparks curiosity, it sparks desire, it makes him chase deeply. Not because you manipulated him, but because your confidence reminded him that you're the prize, not just another option. But confidence doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you never feel nervous or have insecurities. True confidence is about knowing those insecurities exist and choosing not to let them define you. It's showing up as yourself, flaws and all, and saying, this is me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I know I'm valuable. And I'm not here to convince anyone who can't see that. And trust me, that kind of woman, she's unforgettable. She's magnetic. And the right man, he won't just chase her. He'll fight to be worthy of her. 3, the power of healthy mystery. Let's talk about something most people get completely wrong when it comes to attraction. Mystery. See, there's this misconception that mystery means playing games, being distant, or acting like you don't care. But real, healthy mystery, it's not about withholding affection. It's about having a life so full, so exciting, so yours that someone can't help but want to be part of it.
Yeah.
But they realize they don't automatically get that access. Think about the last time you were truly intrigued by someone. It wasn't because they told you every detail of their life in the first 5 minutes. It wasn't because they were completely predictable or available 24/7. It was because there was more to discover. They had layers. They had passions, interests, purpose, things happening in their world that didn't revolve around you. And that's where true, healthy mystery lives. Here's the psychological fact. Humans are wired to crave what feels just out of reach. It's not about making yourself unattainable. It's about living your life so authentically, so independently, that your presence feels like an opportunity, not an expectation. When a man sees that you have your own dreams, your own passions, your own priorities, it sparks curiosity. He starts to wonder,
Who is she really?
what's her story? What lights her up? And let me tell you,
That curiosity.
it's powerful.
Because the moment someone feels like they know everything there is to know about you, and worse, that you've made them the center of your universe, the intrigue fades.
But when you remain grounded in your own life, when you share pieces of yourself, but not everything at once, when you hold space for discovery instead of dumping your entire world in their lap, that's when real, lasting attraction builds. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't about pretending. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being so genuinely fulfilled with your friendships, your work, your passions, that you don't need him to fill a void. You want connection, sure, but you don't need it to feel complete. And the result, he feels drawn to you, not just because you're attractive, but because you're a whole interesting, layered human being with a life worth exploring. That's healthy mystery. That's real attraction. And that's how you make a man chase you deeply. intentionally for all the right reasons. 4, emotional impact over physical appearance. Let's be really honest for a second. Physical appearance, sure, it grabs attention. It can spark interest. But if you want a man to chase you deeply, to be genuinely invested beyond the surface, it's not about how you look, it's about how you make him feel. See, we've been conditioned to believe that attraction is all about looks, the outfit, the hair, the makeup, the perfect angle. But the truth is, appearance might be the invitation, but emotional connection, that's the stay. Because here's the psychology behind it. People don't remember every little detail of how you looked, but they never forget how they felt in your presence. The warmth, the energy, the way you saw them or didn't. That emotional impact, it lingers. It creates attachment. It makes you unforgettable. And for a man, when he's around a woman who makes him feel seen, respected, inspired, even challenged in a healthy way, that triggers something far deeper than physical desire. It taps into his emotional core. And that's when true, lasting pursuit begins. Think about the most magnetic women you've ever encountered, or the ones men talk about long after they're gone. Were they always the most physically perfect? Probably not, but they had something, an energy, a confidence, a presence that made others feel something different. That's emotional impact. And you create that not by overgiving or performing, but by showing up authentically, by being present, by listening, laughing, setting boundaries, being playful, being real, by showing you're not just another person to impress, you're a whole experience. You create emotional impact when you inspire him to step up, when you challenge his perspective in a way that feels exciting, not combative, when your energy makes him feel like he wants to be better, not for validation, but because being around you naturally raises his standards. And here's the best part, that emotional impact, it's not something you can fake. It comes from truly knowing your worth, from being grounded in who you are, from understanding that you're not chasing attention, you're attracting energy that matches yours. Physical beauty may turn his head, but emotional connection, that captures his heart and keeps him chasing deeply, consistently, for all the right reasons. 5, standards make you irresistible. There's something incredibly powerful, almost magnetic about a woman with standards. Not walls, not games, not impossible expectations, but real, honest standards that show she knows exactly what she's willing to accept and what she's not. Let's clear something up right now. Having standards doesn't make you difficult. It doesn't make you too much. It makes you clear. It makes you rare. Because so many people are walking around today trying to keep someone's interest by shrinking their own needs, by lowering their expectations, or like accepting half-effort, one-sided attention or breadcrumb behavior just to keep someone. But here's the hard truth. If you lower your standards to keep someone, you'll eventually lose yourself. And here's where the psychology kicks in. When you have standards, you automatically create a filter. You teach people how to treat you. You send a silent message that says, if you want to be in my life, there's a certain level of effort, consistency, and respect that's required. And that energy is irresistible to the right man because it says, I'm not desperate, I'm discerning. The man who's truly ready, truly interested, won't be scared off by your standards. He'll be inspired by them. Because your standards tell him you can't just show up when it's convenient. You can't offer crumbs and expect a feast. You can't disappear and return like nothing happened. You set the tone. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. You don't just react to what he gives. You decide what's acceptable from the beginning. And this is where the deep chase begins. Because when a man senses you have standards, when he realizes that being in your life isn't something he can slide into by default, it activates his pursuit. It wakes him up. But let's be clear, your standards must first be real to you. You can't just say you have standards and then break them the moment you feel lonely or the moment he gives you minimal attention. Your standards are only powerful when you're willing to walk away from anything that doesn't meet them. That's the part most people miss. The chase isn't about making him chase. 6, he chases what feels like growth, not just comfort. Let me tell you something. Most people never realize when it comes to keeping a man genuinely interested, not just for a moment, but long term. A man doesn't stay for comfort alone. He stays, he invests, he chases when he feels like he's growing in your presence. See, comfort is easy to find. Anyone can make him feel temporarily entertained, flattered, maybe even validated. But growth is rare and it's addictive. Here's what I mean by that. When a man is around a woman who inspires him to be better, not by demanding it, but simply through her energy, her standards, her depth, it activates something deep inside him. It taps into that innate desire to rise, to evolve, to earn the place by your side. Most people confuse this with playing hard to get, but real growth-based attraction isn't about manipulation. It's about being so rooted in your own self-worth, so committed to your own evolution, that anyone who enters your space naturally feels they have to elevate themselves to meet you there. It's in the way you hold your boundaries. It's in the way you communicate with clarity and kindness. It's in how you carry yourself, knowing you're not here to fix or rescue anyone, but you also won't dim your light to make them feel more comfortable. And that's powerful. It creates a silent, undeniable challenge. Not a challenge to chase games, but a challenge to show up as the best version of himself. Think about it. The relationships that feel most electric, most alive, aren't the ones where everything is easy and predictable from day one. They're the ones where both people feel stretched emotionally, intellectually, even spiritually, where being together feels like growth, not just comfort. And for a man, when he meets a woman who makes him think, who inspires him to reflect, who doesn't accept half measures or surface level connection, that's when the real chase begins. He's not chasing for validation. He's not chasing because you played some clever game. He's chasing because your energy, your presence, your standards make him feel like being with you is an opportunity to grow, to rise, to level up. And that feeling, that's irresistible. Because deep down, whether they admit it or not, men crave growth. They crave the challenge of being worthy of someone extraordinary. So if you want a man to chase you deeply, be the woman who challenges him, not with ego, but with standards. Be the woman who inspires him, not with pressure, but with presence. And trust me, the right man, he won't just chase you, he'll work to keep you.